Welcome to the Real Estate and Chills podcast, newest series.
Chill, bro.
Where we discuss sports,
NFTs.
COVID vaccines,
Chill, bro.
TV shows,
Crypto.
politics,
Chill, bro.
life mistakes,
Random.
realtors we hate.
Yo, chill, bro.
Hit the subscribe button.
Notification bell.
Wait, who'd you vote for?
Bro, chill, bro.
Perfect.
Welcome back. This is the new episode of Chill Bro. Today is a very special episode. We have our first VIP guest.
Not VIP, man. I'm here as Uncle Lou today. I'm not here as in a financial capacity. I'm not here in a professional capacity. I'm just chilling with my nephews, man. That's the way I look at it.
It's the famous Lou Soriano.
And the first guest that we've had on our show for a second time.
That's an honor.
Yes.
You guys have killer guests. You got a killer show. I love what you guys do, as you know. Biggest supporter, probably number one fan.
Honestly,
Low-key booking agent.
You get the title, honestly.
So yeah, that's what it is. I guess I paid my way back off.
Nah, but we do appreciate all the support. You know, I started wearing the hustle.
Yeah, man, and I had to do the same and show some love for my boys at Real Estate and Chill.
In the championship red.
In Championship Red.
Yes. But we got a few things that we want to talk about. There's so many things that you talk about that we need to touch base on. We need further elaboration on everything. Which one do you want to start off with?
Hot topic, NFTs.
Yeah.
NFTs first?
So this is good. This is a good topic because I watched your episode with Brandon.
Brandon.
So that episode was great, and it actually triggered me in a way that I didn't expect because there was so many terms that I wasn't familiar with, and me being an older guy, right? 53, we talk about this all the time. That's why I say I'm Uncle Lou, and you guys are like my nephews. And I said, I really need to learn more about this because I've been hearing about this for like a year or more. And to me, it's like a rerun of when the internet was first coming out in the 90s. So I read this book. I brought a prop today. Roaring 2000s. In this book, written by Harry Dent in the 90s, he was talking about the internet as we live it today. But back in the 90s, it just seemed crazy. So when we talk about now NFTs and the Metaverse and all this stuff, it sounds far-fetched. And people who like are my age and older, they forget how far-fetched the internet sounded back in 93, 94, 95. And here we are talking about like this alternate universe, basically the metaverse and NFTs and all that. So I got questions for you, actually. I actually think we've been evolving to this without even knowing it. Like, we were talking earlier, right? We customize our avatars to look more like us. We use filters to make us look different. So now the metaverse is just kind of taking that to another level where you're not just on the internet, you're like in the internet, right? Is that
kind of
a
crazy.
fair way to
I think that's
describe
very
it?
fair, yeah. I think so. I feel like it's kind of scary to me. Like that, what you just said is scary to me because it's just like, we spend so much time on like
The digital world.
Yeah, it's like we spend so much time on social media. I feel like, I don't know who I said this to, but I was like, I'm always looking at a screen. Like no matter what I'm doing, aside from like this, but I mean there's a screen right behind us, like we're on a screen, right? So it's like I'm looking at a screen like all day. Like even when I'm driving, I have a screen in front of me. Like I have heads up display. I'm looking at something digital every single second. So it's just like now it's like you're gonna be in that universe or whatever, and you're gonna be represented like in that universe. So it's like it's kind of scary to me because like
To me, it is.
Yeah.
It is scary though, because I feel like some people are so like influenced by it that their real life is not going to be as important as their digital life. And what I mean by that is like you'll see people taking photos in like planes and stuff like that when it's just a set, and they're just
I saw that.
They're doing it for likes and views and everything
great.
else to look good in this digital world.
I saw one meme. The guy was like in behind a washing machine, like it looked like the bubble window, like an airplane window, and he like had a green screen behind it. And meanwhile, it's just like it's all fake.
It's like people are trying to flex nowadays. It's just like people are throwing up like watches that aren't theirs. Like people are really portraying a lifestyle that they might not live in. Like I mean, everyone it's free to do whatever they want. That's not something I would do. But I just think that it's like people really feel like they have to show out to everybody else.
Well, it's about balance. Listen, at the end of the day, this is all good things. I think NFTs, getting back to NFTs, is an unbelievable technology. And the way I'm looking at a lot of this stuff is the utility of it or the use case of it. Like, what would I do with an NFT? So when I hear you young guys talk about NFTs and my son talk about NFTs, they're talking about digital art. for the most part. That's what it seems like to me. And I think most people my age think that that is what NFTs are. But really, NFTs are just a way to authenticate something.
Yeah.
Whether it's an item, whether it's records, whether it's tickets, whether it's, we were talking about real estate, like you could document the history of property and the deed and the COs and ownership. Like that's what I'm more interested in than like the digital art of it, and understanding how NFTs could be used. I think NFTs are going to be used in just about every capacity that we live in, you know, whether it's our personal lives, business life. So I'm really interested in that and wanted to know more about that.
And I feel like NFT, like, all right, so when QR codes came out, nobody understood them.
Right.
Now QR codes are used so often.
In restaurants, right? They don't even give you menus anymore.
It's crazy. I think NFT is going to change the world.
That's going to be, right. I think that's the next thing.
That poster you put up, because, all right, a lot of people, what they're getting confused on, they just think it's, like you said, digital art.
Yeah.
Like Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, and all those other things, but it's different than that.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Vee spoke about it. He said a lot of these projects that are coming out, 98% of them are going to fail.
Yep.
So people are just buying things to buy the hype, not knowing what they're really buying. It goes further than that.
And that's what happened, guys, like in the late 90s when the internet was coming along. And look up pets.com, you know, like animals, pets.com. That's when, that was like the breaking point where people were saying, all right, this whole .com boom is getting nuts now. We got pets.com. And I think that's going to happen. And that happens with any new technology, any new thing. And I think NFTs is going to be the same thing. A lot of people are buying stuff just because they have that fear, the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And they want to say they own an NFT and it's a flex and it's this and it's that. But really, I think if you're looking to understand the use cases and not just try to double your money in a week or something like that. Yeah. And people were doing this with, crypto a couple of years ago when that was like
2017. Even like last year, people are still doing that. Like people still to this day are still doing that.
Right.
I think that like, so me personally, like I buy NFTs for the artwork right now. I'm still so brand new to it. Like it's just like, there's so many things to learn about it. I'm just learning about one thing, right? I've learned about one thing, moving on to more things. It's just like a pit of like, there's so many different things that could be
it's
like,
involved
inside of it. So it's just like exactly what you said. So I'm like in the art side of it right now. Like I've just been like, not really been flipping, but I've just been buying projects where I like the community. Like it's really a lot of speculation in my opinion right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And like exactly what you said about like the 98% that are gonna fail. Like you have to be so careful. And like there are projects that people know are gonna fail, but like they still buy it because they want to get in before the rug pull, which basically means like somebody like
explain
somebody
that
who's
because
like
we were talking about that earlier too.
A rug pull is basically when there's an owner who has like an overwhelming majority of the shares, so there's a few owners, or whatever owners they have, like they own like a huge percentage of the NFTs or of the stocks or of the whatever the case, not really with stocks, but they basically sell all at once, and they basically take the value of that and just like drop it like right away. So that happens like with cryptocurrencies, with NFTs, like it happens, and people really have to be careful about that.
Yeah. So here's Uncle Lou asking Nephew James, right? Because I think I understand this, but I want you to clarify this. So if I wanted to buy an NFT, right, digital art, whatever it was, but let's use art for example. I first have to buy some crypto, right? I have to exchange my dollars for some sort of digital currency.
Right.
Let's put it that way, right? From what I understand, Ethereum is like the ETH is like the
go-to.
Yeah, the
it's
go-to
it's like the
currency,
major one,
right?
Yeah.
That's the major one. Okay, so I have to buy some, and I guess that's what I want to explain to people so they understand, and it's not just lingo, right?
Yeah.
So I have to buy some digital currency. Once I have that digital currency, that goes into a digital wallet.
Right.
Once it's in a digital wallet, then I go on to a marketplace like OpenSea.
Right.
And it's OpenSea like SEA.
OpenSea.io.
Okay, so I go on to this marketplace, which is sort of like, I don't know, maybe it's a bad analogy, the Amazon of digital NFTs? Or
I would say
what
like an eBay. I would say like an eBay.
Okay,
yeah, because it's like
example.
peer-to-peer.
Because I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like...
Or actually, Amazon could be better. But either way,
it's a marketplace.
Yeah.
It's a marketplace for these
exactly.
digital assets or digital art, right? Then once I have that wallet established, I buy the piece.
Right.
Okay. Now that I buy the piece from the owner, that gets recorded on a ledger on the blockchain.
Right.
Right, which for all you old people like me is meaning like we're keeping the record of, okay, the transition from one person to the other, and then you could get royalties off of it. If I sold it now to Kevin, you being the artist, somehow you get some residual payment.
Right.
Even if I sold it at again to Kevin, and that again is recorded on the blockchain, which is basically just like the book, right?
Yeah,
the ledger, the digital ledger.
It's from like basically like the blockchain. I think blockchain is like the most important side of the whole cryptocurrency like world. Like I personally think like you're basically using peers, like different computers around the world. People are recording it for you, and like it's just such an awesome concept. But there's no like main person. You know what I mean? Like it's just everybody is like you're recording on different people's computers and stuff.
So that's what I'm getting at. It's like, really, that's what I'm interested in. That's what I was talking to Kevin about was, I'm more interested in all the stuff going on in the background. I could give a crap about the monkey with, like, you know, smoking a joint or whatever the hell it is. It's like, I want to know about the technology in the background that's making all this stuff happen, because I think that's where the future is. I don't think it's so much in necessarily the piece of art you bought, because to your point, and Gary Vee has mentioned this too, 98 of them are going to fail. Like, they're not all going to be this Bored Ape Yacht Club or whatever it is. So that's
I think that the utility behind some of these NFTs are really good, and I think those are the ones that are going to last. Like, you know, like I know we keep saying 98%, but like the 2% they're going to be the ones that last. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club, like that's I don't think that's ever going anywhere.
There's too much push.
But even if it did, it's going to be worth money. You know why?
Yeah.
It's like if you had the first MacBook Pro, or you had the first smartphone, or you had the first
Game Boy,
right? These things are worth money now. So or the first BlackBerry. Like, once these things go out, it's like, oh man, remember we used to do that?
And that's already being sold now. Like, the first ones of these certain things, like, there's something called a Chromie Squiggle, which is basically an art piece that basically started, like, the AI-generated, like, art pieces. So that was, like, the thing that put everybody onto it. So it's like, those are selling for, like, 7 Ethereum right now, which is probably, like $20-something thousand. But, like, I think that's a good point, because that's already happening now.
So hang on to those things. So now let's switch to Metaverse, right? I see people this Christmas, they got these Oculus Goggles.
Yo, I got those.
You got them? How do you like them?
I have them too.
I use it so when we take pictures of a home, we do like a virtual tour. So you put them on and you actually feel like you're in the house.
All right, so no, wait a minute. Explain to me how, again, this is Uncle Lou asking. How does that work? You film the house, and then you put the goggles on somebody and they go through a virtual tour of the house?
So it's like, you ever look at like properties on Zillow or whatever the case may be, it's like virtual tour. You could like click the white circles and stuff.
Right.
But with the goggles, you put them on and you actually feel like you're in the house. Yeah, like it's
like that.
I don't think you could open things.
Have you ever tried an Oculus?
No.
Oh,
yeah, we should do an episode like that. I think that'd be dope.
But hang on to these Oculus, because what's going to happen is 10 years from now, when we're just wearing like these little thin glasses that take the place of that Oculus, or it even goes so far as like they have some sort of contact that replaces, so you don't even have. It's going to be like, look at these ridiculous things we used to wear when we first were doing all this Metaverse stuff.
It's like,
and it's going to look crazy. It's like beepers. Or Michael Douglas. You ever watch Wall Street, the movie Wall Street? Too young. I keep forgetting how old I am.
Wolf of Wall Street.
He's seen.
I've seen Wolf of Wall Street.
No, all right, Wolf of Wall Street. You gotta watch Wall Street, the classic. Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen.
I know Charlie Sheen.
Forget about it. He's too young. Anyway, he's on the beach with a cell phone. That was like the most major flex ever, and it was as big as that water jug there. It was like this.
Wait,
big
isn't
thing.
a beeper like when you call somebody's beeper?
Damn, now he's making me feel old.
Wait, don't you call somebody's? Okay, you call somebody's phone number.
You call
they get
the
it
number.
on a beeper, and then you call them. You see
like
the
a
number,
pager.
and then
yeah,
it's like a pager.
Yeah,
or like a two-way.
It was just text. It was text that would come across on the
brother had a
pager,
two-way,
and it would be the number, and you would call back that number.
Yeah,
now, you would recognize the number, and then if it was an emergency, you would put 911 at the end of it. You could put codes on the end of it.
Interesting.
You could put certain numbers around, like that was the original version of.
that's
Sexting.
interesting. I could never do that. I would never.
Oh yeah, it was a crazy time.
Going back to NFTs, people buying NFTs to flip them, just like looking at it as of like an investment, I guess. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the kid that we had on, Brandon, your boy, he bought it for a certain price and it doubled in price now. If he sells it, will he have to pay taxes?
All right, so
That's a good question.
excellent question. So when you're talking about the metaverse and NFTs, you think you're playing in a playground that's just like, this isn't the real world. Like I'm flipping this coin, flipping this art. I bought a condo on the metaverse and I made some money on it. Well, just to be very clear, you might be living on the metaverse, but you're going to pay taxes in the IRS.
It's real life, buddy.
It's real life, yeah. In the IRS universe, you're going to pay some taxes on that
Uncle
stuff.
Sam is everywhere.
They're everywhere, and they're slow to the game, but they're eventually going to start requiring some of these platforms to obtain your social security number, so on and so forth, such
crazy.
that when you sell these things at a gain, yes, there's going to be some tax.
Big Brother's always
consequences.
watching.
Yeah, man, it's not a game. That's
Another
the real
thing,
world.
Venmo.
Yeah, I need to ask you about that.
All right, so the Venmo thing I get asked about all the time. So the American Rescue Plan Act was passed in March of last year, but it takes effect this year. So the way the Venmo rule works is like this. Listen, anytime you have any earned income, you're supposed to report it if it's over $400. That's been the rule from the beginning of time. So if you went out and cut lawn and you made a couple $100, $500-600, in theory you're supposed to report. Not in theory. Just to be clear, you're supposed to report that. Not in theory. I'm on camera. And I'm an enrolled agent now. Yeah, this is not the metaverse. I got to be very clear. This is real life. I caught myself. You got to pay taxes on that, just to be clear, right? Okay. So, but the reality is most people didn't. I did, of course. Most people didn't, right? Okay. Now, what happens is with this new law, prior to this new law, we had all these cash apps come out, right? We got Cash App, we got Venmo, we got
Zelle.
PayPal, we got Zelle. Zelle's an outlier. I'm going to explain that in a second.
Thank God.
And what the IRS is realizing is like, hey, people are making money and doing business, and they're not reporting this income. So prior to the American Rescue Plan Act, you had to have over $20,000 of business of income from, these platforms, and over 200 transactions before 1099-K was issued. Now what they're saying is like, forget about $20,000 limit, forget about having 200 transactions and $20,000 of income. If you make $600 doing business, you got to pay tax on it. It's going to issue a 1099. PayPal, Venmo. And if you look at Venmo now, there's actually a little toggle button on the bottom. So like if you were paying me, let's say for a tax return, or I was paying you for something, you could click on it and it'll say, hey, this is a business transaction, and that'll start counting. That's how they're going to keep track of business transactions and separating from personal transactions. But they also want people who are doing business to have a business account. Then they don't have to keep track of these toggle things. The thing with Zelle right now, they are the only outlier because it's a bank-to-bank transfer, not a peer-to-peer. That they said so far that they're not going to issue 1099-Ks for any of this stuff.
So if you have Venmo, you better switch to Zelle. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily. Listen, if you're not doing business, it doesn't. None of this affects you.
Right.
So if you're not using it for business, if we go out to dinner, right, and you like to eat in fancy places, I've been out to dinner with you. You're a high roller, and it's like, okay, Lou, the bill is $600, and I Venmo you $600. That's not a taxable transaction to you. If we had an apartment and I was splitting the rent with you, that's not a taxable transaction, even if it was $1,000. Or if it was we had an apartment, it's $2,000 a month, I transferred $12,000 to you, that's not taxable to you. That's a personal thing. But if you were selling something or a service or a tax return in my case, yeah, that is a business transaction. And once you get over $600, they're going to, all of these platforms, except for Zelle right now, are going to issue a 1099-K. And you got to report that.
One thing I had a question about, like taxes that you brought up.
Mm-hmm.
They said in 2022, like all food for 1099 is going to be completely a write-off. Is that true?
Okay, so that's another good question. So yes, but it has to be business, Kev. So if you and I went out to the Yankee game, and I was thinking about listing my house with you. Yeah, but the tickets that you paid to go to that game are not deductible.
Right.
But if we had a skybox and you got food, and you're another high roller, I know how you roll. You're gonna have a skybox. You're gonna be rolling out the food and the
I'm
drinks.
in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
With binoculars.
Yeah, but even that popcorn, yeah, you could prior to this year though, it was only going to be 50%, which would have been my portion. You couldn't write off your portion.
What made them change that? Because all right, most
Pandemic mostly.
I feel like nonstop, all I do is talk about real estate. So how many times would I have to mention real estate in a conversation for you? Like, all right, let me write this off.
Well, mentioning it, well, that's a good question. That's fair. But talking about real estate and actually trying to conduct business with the person you were out to dinner with or at the game with or spending money with, it's supposed to lead to a business transaction or you're prospecting. If it's just your friend that you knew from first grade and you're talking about real estate the whole time and you're just talking about work.
If I tell him, yo, you should buy this house, he says no. Still real estate. It's right on.
Yeah, well, how is anybody?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
nobody knows. These are all the gray area. You know what it is? These real estate agents, they do this to me all the time. They're like, no, but I know I was at Insignia, but all we did was talk about real estate. They're like, yeah, I know. And then next week, we did it again. It's like, all right. So this is what they do. I know the game. But
Well, me on the other hand. If I take you out, you just know I love you because I don't get these benefits.
It's all love. Well, that's the thing with W-2 guys. They get hammered with that stuff.
Yeah,
they don't get it.
Being that he's a high roller, he's not wearing them today. He usually has his Ferragamos on.
Oh, man.
Luxury, designer shoes, watches, and everything else. Luxury. It went up.
It did. And you know what? If I knew we weren't behind the desk today, I was gonna flex a little bit. I got some nice luxury sneakers. We're all doing it, right?
I want to see your collection. I feel like you have a very nice collection. Yeah, what do you have?
All right, listen. I'm an older guy. I like.
Bally's.
I recently bought a pair of Bally's. Bally
See, I
Moon.
hit it right on the spot.
Right on the spot with the red and white
He has no
stripes
idea
and the
what they are.
gold Bally's. Yeah.
Wait, the ones Balenciagas? You talking about?
Bally's. See?
I should have worn.
Wait, that's the
Bally's are old school. You know why?
I know what you're talking about.
Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, they talked about Bally's and rap songs back in the 80s. So that became like the first luxury. It just went that way.
Nah, he was still.
Oh. But
I know Slick Rick.
Do you know what I'm talking about
I
at all?
don't know.
All right, anyway. We're going to have Mike clip in like a little birthday. Yo, Rick, put your Bally's on. Anyway, forget about it. There was mention of Bally sneakers in rap songs back then. So that was like the first luxury sneaker. So that's why, I have a pair of Bally's. But mostly I wear old school sneakers. I wear like Shelto, Stan Smith, Puma suedes. They used to be Puma Clydes. And now I wear like running shoes like, old man New Balance and stuff like that.
Do you like Yeezys?
I hear they're very comfortable. I hear they're amazing. But what are those? Those aren't Yeezys.
Nah, he's just regular Adidas.
Are they really? He likes nice sneakers.
Yeah, you have a big collection.
All right, but here's the thing. Like, I don't go crazy.
I feel like you go crazy. I feel like you buy like a lot of shoes, bro.
I wore that pair like for the first whole year of us shooting.
Well,
I look at it as the Balenciagas.
Yeah, I like those shoes though.
But I look at it as like, all right, that pair in reality comes out to like almost $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. But so to me, it's like I'm not gonna buy 10 pairs of shoes. I'm only gonna buy this pair and just rock them. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I do. And you keep them in nice shape and you're good to go.
I don't even have I don't wear like.
But you can't go crazy with some of these things.
No.
So like when I look at, we were talking sneakers. Stan Smith Adidas literally is the standard, in my opinion, of what all these other shoes are copying in some way, shape, or form, like the Alexander McQueen. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think that the genesis, like the evolution of that is from the Stan Smith, and people still wear Stan Smith. So
there's some luxury like sneakers, clothes that are just so ugly and people still wear them.
I think Balenciaga sneakers are kind of ugly. Not the ones you have. Not the ones you have. The sock ones, those are nice. I like those.
That was the funniest thing ever. You just got roasted by Luke. You never roasted anybody.
Now,
still roasted.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the ones that
I've
like
seen some people and I'm like, oh my God, what are those? And they're like, oh, those are $2,000. I'm like, really?
And those things feel like bricks.
Yeah, I couldn't wear those.
I know what you're talking about. Those
they got to be comfortable. Like, you
like Jordans?
Nice? Not, yeah, but like Jordan 1s. You know what
I
I mean?
like Jordan 1s.
Like those are
old
classics.
school Jordans like that.
Yo, like the
But why are they so
ones.
much? Why are they so much now? You guys know the
Rare,
sneaker.
I guess, right? I don't know. I guess because they're rare. I mean, they still release them though, but they don't release like the OG colorways. Like you know, like the red, white, black. Like they don't release. I don't think they release. I don't really keep up with Jordans too.
Now it's like the more original and the rarity of the shoe, the higher price that it costs. Because you can't go back in time and produce those same sneakers. If a sneaker released in the 90s, like first edition, it's worth a lot of money now.
Yo, samples. They're like, you know, I was watching, you know, Benjamin Kicks. You guys know who that is?
No.
He's like this sneaker. He's like this young guy. He's like, he made like $1 million in sneaker resales when he was 16 years old. So I watched a video that he had like a few days ago, and he had a pair of Freddy Krueger SB samples, and they were like $6,000, something like that. Like, it's crazy. I mean, they're shoes. Like,
I would never pay $6,000.
Yeah, I don't. Crazy. I could never see myself doing that. But like,
let's go back now and loop this into NFTs. This is where NFTs come in handy, right? Because if they could put an NFT on a pair of Jordan 1s or whatever luxury item you're looking to purchase online, how do you know you're not getting a fake, right?
Also,
if it was NFT'd, you could verify that, correct?
Gotta get it nifty.
Yes, but what they've been doing for clothes actually is they've been doing RFID codes. RFID things like Montclair's, like they have like their RFID chips here or whatever. So, but I've also heard about something of what you just said, where you buy the NFT and then the shoes come with it, or like the shirt comes with it, or something like that. So they sell the NFT and then the shirt comes with it. But how do you resell that then? That's the question I have.
How do you resell it?
Like if I bought it and then you wanted it, I wanted to sell it to you. Like would I sell you the NFT and then like, but how would you know the shirt is real? Like that's the question.
I think you need to have both, but this is why it's all new and why we
I don't
have
know.
these conversations.
I'm so confused with that.
I was actually going to ask you that too, because they were saying about NFTs. Like you could buy. I heard this kid talk about he bought an NFT for property that was on the Metaverse in the Bronx, but it actually gave him the real property in the Bronx too, and it was Stan Lee's property.
I haven't heard about that, but that's
so they were selling real property in the Bronx on the Metaverse. And this is another question we need to clear up about the Metaverse. We're all over the place here, folks.
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know how this is gonna come out. Yeah, it's like bang, bang, bang. But the Metaverse, it's not one place. It's like there are metaverses, right? They're different networks.
I believe so. I don't think it's like. Because, like, so basically, like, there's different plots of land. So it's, like, the sandbox is one of them.
Right.
And then, like, there's other pieces of land. And, like, people are buying real estate within that land. And there's multiple different things.
No, but I guess I'm asking the platform, right? Like social media, there's Facebook,
oh, you're saying
Twitter,
like that. Okay.
Instagram.
I don't know.
And, like, the Metaverse, like, Facebook has their version of the Metaverse. Sandbox, it's Metaverse.
I would say in that
that's, like, another version of the Metaverse.
I feel like people
that's another version. Like, there's
Decentralized another one. I would say
and they don't all talk to each other.
Like, yeah, I think everyone calls the whole thing, like anything related to that, the metaverse.
Right.
But
they don't talk to each other.
I honestly I don't know.
All right, here's how I understand it. Back in the day, if you were on AT&T and texting first came out, so the next flex was like after you got rid of that beeper, you're able to text people. But I can only text you if you were on AT&T or if we were on Sprint.
Oh, okay.
Now we could text. I don't know what your carrier is or yours is, but they all communicate with one another. And I think that's how I understand the metaverse is now. That there are different ones. It's not just like the internet you log on. It's like there's different metaverses.
Gotcha.
He's gonna come back and he's gonna tell us. Because I'm giving you that as homework. But I think that's how it is, and that's how I understand it. You know, as far as being able to communicate, and some only take some digital currency, others take, and that's why Ethereum is kind of accepted through all of them, right?
Yeah, they use like a lot of people. So Ethereum is mostly used on OpenSea. There's like a few different currencies you can use, but there's like different cryptocurrencies that allow you to buy different NFTs. So it's like Solana is one of them. So you can go on a website that's purely made for like Solana and stuff like that. So there's like different, what you're saying about like different things like within the metaverse. Right. There's like different websites where you can buy different types of NFTs and stuff like that now. Yeah. So, and like, I think that's interesting too.
Okay. Back to NFTs. With NFTs, like there's like the Gary Vee NFTs. I did a little bit of research into it. If
How
you
much are
purchase
those?
those,
Like
when those
50
came
grand.
out, yeah, now they are. But
Oh, are they
he said
really?
when they first released, they were like $2,000. But people sat on them, now they're worth like 50 plus.
Wow.
But with his, like, there's exclusive like things that you could do. Like you can have a FaceTime with him, or you can do this event, or you could go to that event, like all
Right.
those events and things like that. So I think that's really cool. Like I think
Yeah.
That's utility.
Yeah,
That's
what I'm
utility.
saying.
And
That's
like tickets, I think, are going to be like that too. Like imagine you went to, I don't know, LeBron James's. I'm trying to use somebody current. I was going to say Jordan. LeBron James's last game, but you didn't know that was his last game.
Yeah.
Until like next year, he says, "Oh, I retire." I retired, and it's like, "Oh, well, I got his ticket." In the past, you had to have like the actual stub. If you had an NFT ticket of that, that would be valuable, and then you could resell that, have royalties on that.
They have. I don't, so do the thing is, I don't believe, I might be wrong, but I don't believe, like, say for example you had the LeBron James ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you own the Lakers, right? I would buy the ticket
That'd be nice.
from you, right?
I like the way you're talking, James. Keep going.
So you own the Lakers, you own the organization, you are the person who minted the NFT, which basically means like you created the NFT.
Right.
So basically, like if I bought that from you, right? Well, I would be the one that mints it because I would be the one that would be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So if I minted it from you, then I would have the ticket. If I sold it to Kevin, I think you would get the royalty, not me.
Yeah,
So I think the Lakers would be the one
a lot
who get,
behind it.
because usually the creators are the ones who
Right.
get the royalties like continuously. So it's like if
oh,
I
well, that's
sold
good
it,
for the team too. Right. That's
Yeah.
another utility or use case.
yeah. So you would get the royalty back,
Right.
but it still would be worth like so much more money instead of a ticket where
Mhm.
you might just put it in your pocket, you might just damage it,
Yeah.
you might just throw it away, like you don't even know. Like,
Right. Well, and that's the thing I think I want to emphasize to people my age and people younger, for everybody really, is that there is definitely a shift going on right now that we all need to pay attention to. And I think in time, and not just monetarily, not because we want to monetize it, make money from it, although that would be nice, right? But you really want to stay current on what's going on because it's going to affect our day-to-day lives. And if you start, late to the game, let's say 5 years from now, it's like, all right, I want to book a flight, and they say I have to buy an NFT ticket. I know, I'm just using like some crazy analogy. And it's like, I don't even know what this is. Like, you're at a real disadvantage. So it like, we're discussing all this stuff. We don't know the answers. We're just hashing it out here, sitting and talking about it. But it's a real thing, and people need to pay attention to what's going on right now.
Rapid fire questions. Just to wrap this up. Your thoughts on Kanye's new song? We had this conversation last Chill Bro episode where he bought the house that comes from King.
Yes.
Now he just
I
recently
love it.
released
Fire.
a song because he watched the episode that we launched. You know what? Let me
Of
release
course.
a song.
He's
Let me
like,
release a
these
song.
guys are on to me.
Let me release a song.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that song with the game?
All right, so I'm old school rap, hip hop guy,
Yeah,
right?
bars.
you love the game, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Super hip hop head. I used to DJ, all that stuff, graffiti.
DJ
That was
Uncle
our-
Lou on the 1 and 2.
DJ Uncle Lou now, right? But Kanye, I loved Kanye when he first came out, and then I just felt like he was getting all
Weird.
sappy and weird. And listen, artistic people kind of are like that. I get it. But no, the song he put out this weekend, I thought was pretty fire. So
He quote said that he was saved from the crash so he can beat Pete Davidson's ass.
God sent me from that crash just so I could beat Pete Davidson's.
and then he was talking about his kids. He was like,
I spent like 5 hours
with house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, I spent 5 hours with my kids today. I was like, that's good.
Yeah, but he's very genuine and he shares himself sometimes too much, and But I like Kanye. Kanye's cool.
Kanye's my favorite rapper.
College Dropout.
Yeah,
Kanye
that-
and
yeah.
a couple albums after that, and a couple songs here and there. I think he whines too much lately. Kanye, if you watch, I'm sorry, bro. That's my opinion.
Come on, man. Please.
Too much
When
whining.
he watched the last episode, now he's on it.
Now he's on to me.
Yeah.
But listen, let's talk. Well, I know we're wrapping up, but and I interrupted you. I know you
No,
were about
good.
to say something about Rolexes. Let's wrap up with the Rolex thing and
Wait,
what's going
before
on
we
with
touch the
that.
Rolex thing, I have
Can
one
we?
question for you.
Yeah.
So this is going to be dropping on Sunday, which is whatever, like the 23rd, I think.
Uh-huh.
So we are getting around the time of tax season. So
Oh, okay.
the first filing day is January 24th.
24th.
So a realtor who is new to the game, who's never done this before, any words of advice for them?
Yeah. Start getting your expenses in order now. That's the number one thing. If we're at the beginning of the year, if you don't have a separate bank account for your business and you're a realtor, you're self-employed in any capacity, you should have a separate bank account. And that's if you're filing as a sole proprietor, Schedule C, LLC, I don't care how you're structured, you should have a separate bank account, number one. Two, in preparation for tax season now, you should be going over your bank statements, credit card statements, Venmo, PayPal, all that stuff, and figure out which one of those, all of those expenses that are business related, because that is deductible against your 1099 from your real estate sales. So that's something you should be doing right now. And if you are structured as an S corporation, unlike sole proprietors, the tax return for S corporations is due on March 15th. So your tax due date is coming up sooner than your personal tax due date, which of course is April 15th, but this year it happens to fall on April 18th, because I think the 15th is on a weekend.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
And if they have any questions, they can reach out to you on Instagram. How do you prefer being somebody reaching out to you?
Instagram is fine.
Okay.
Instagram
So if you have any
is
questions, reach out to Lou.
Yep.
And watch his videos because he has the best
Super
educational
educational.
videos.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
there
verify
is-
me. I'm active on Instagram, and I changed my handle now. It's Lou Soriano1, all lowercase, no cap. So you can find me on Instagram. But we gotta finish with the Rolex thing, because that's something that we were talking about before we started. Rolexes are hard to come by now, and it's the same reason why we were talking about Jordans and why they're so much and hard to come by. Like, would you buy a luxury watch like online? See, here's another NFT
I bought a
utility.
luxury watch online. Like my first Rolex, I bought it online.
Mm-hmm.
But that one I had to sell because I was starting and it kept real going wrong. I was trying to look the part more than.
I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
I remember.
So that one I had to sell, and then I said, you know what? All right, let's just say that an average Rolex is like what, like $12,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the date just, right? If you can't make, and this is just real estate wise, obviously, or whatever career.
Anything,
right?
yeah.
I look at it as like, if I can't make $12,000 in a year, I'm doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I can afford the watch. If you want to get it, that's on you.
Right.
Some people get it as like a show off, like
A flex.
Yeah, flex. So other people get it as like investment.
Well, most luxury items we all buy as a flex, right?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say.
We gotta be honest
but
about
yeah.
So there's two ways. I mean, you could buy this, as you can see, obviously.
But that's the
they
nice
gone up.
thing. That's the thing with the Rolexes is that, and I think from what I hear, Rolex doesn't have a problem producing these things. It's just they don't want to run it up where they're in such demand now that everybody runs out and gets them, and kind of diminishes the brand. So they want them to be hard to get, just like it's hard to get Jordan 1s, and Nike is not just pumping them out where you could get them at any Foot Locker, right? So Rolex is the same thing. But unlike most items, luxury items like a car or, Jordans or any other clothing item that we might buy, Rolexes are actually appreciating in value. So
like I said, I was looking at a watch. It was $13,000. I was gonna buy it. Factory diamond bezel, factory diamond markers.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know, when you put, like, say if you buy a Rolex, you go to a jeweler, you put aftermarket diamonds on it, it diminishes the value of the watch.
Right.
It's like luxury is like, so the previous watch I had.
It's like getting a Bentley and putting spinners on it, right?
Exactly. The previous watch that I had, I had on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
This was a while ago. I forgot that I left it there. I get out my car, the watch drops.
Oh.
My whole cyclop like cracks. And now with Rolexes, it wasn't like a day or two. I had to wait like a month for it to get serviced and fixed and everything.
Yeah.
There's certain parts, and that's another thing why I don't buy from like jewelers.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you don't know if the band is original or any of the pieces are aftermarket pieces, which then diminishes the watch. Because if you go to sell it to a Rolex store, they break it down. They like
they're gonna
look
look at it. And it's like the video I sent you. Like there was like a guy in the military. He's like 70 now. I think this is like he was over in Switzerland or something in World War II. And his sergeant says, "Hey, buy a like Rolex before you go back. You won't regret it." He paid like $100 for this thing, $104. He kept all the papers. What do they call that watch? The Pepsi, where it's like blue and red or whatever. I know they got names for it.
The nickname, the Pepsi.
Yeah, the nickname is a Pepsi, but they didn't call it that back. It's a GMT or whatever it was. But it was worth like something like $75,000 now. He paid $100 for it, like back in the day.
Wow.
But he kept all the papers, the boxes. I went to a pool room once. Well, I've gone to pool rooms plenty of times. That's my other hobby.
Hustle.
Yeah, but this father bought his son a Rolex for his 50th birthday. Some guy comes up to the counter. He's like, "Yo, do you want the box? I'll give you $500 for the box."
Yeah, the box.
And they were like, "What?"
Too.
He's like, "No, it came with the watch." Like he goes, "No, I just want the box. Obviously, the watch is yours, but people are selling the boxes. So if you have like authentic papers and boxes, and then you put like a fake watch in there, it helps." Again, here's NFT again, right? That maybe could help with some of that stuff. But
I think that's interesting. Like, selling the box, putting a fake like Rolex in it, and just like on
People
top
are
of that,
doing
that's a
stuff.
good point that you said too. Because like honestly, like I don't
fake parts,
know.
like for
A lot of people
repairs.
don't know
Yeah.
that though.
Right,
A lot of
right.
people don't know that when they go to the jeweler.
I would
Like, you
have
don't
no
know.
idea. Like
I
I would
wouldn't
not
either.
know.
A Rolex is like, it goes by years. So like, that's how you know. Like, all right, this is a 2022. This is a 2021. Like, it goes beyond what most people think, and they just look at it as like, all right, this is the flex.
Listen, at the end of the day, Rolex is a flex too, right?
Yeah.
But not only does it tell you the time, it lets other people know what time it is, right? That's why you wear it. It's like, yo, I got this Rolex.
Yo, but would you pay? So that was my thing because I was like, I get it. It's like double the price now. It's just like, like, would you? Because I had somebody like a few weeks ago hit me up. He had a Batman, and he
See,
wanted.
Batman, the Hulk. Dude, I got an Apple Watch. The fanciest watch I have is a Tag Heuer that I had for from '95.
Yeah, I
still have it.
I love Movados. Like Movados.
I have a Movado. I got married. I got
I
a
literally
Movado.
like I wear
Movado was
Movados
the big
every single
flex
time.
in the early '90s.
Yeah, I had a Movado
I love
too.
them.
And the thing with Rolex is too, like, from a certain time period, the band is hollow.
Ah, okay.
Opposed to with the newer models, it's
Mhm.
solid, so you'll see it. Like you won't see it, you'll feel it.
Right.
So that's the difference. Like a friend of mine has one, like same watch that I have, but he has a Jubilee band. There's two bands. Like
Right.
always in the
Jubilee band is so nice.
That's what I would get if I got a Rolex.
That's
I'd
like the
get a
original
Jubilee
band.
And I would be old school, right? All gold. You know what I mean? Like what was popular back 30 years ago. But
It was nice.
are they wearing gold Rolexes now? Like
Yeah,
Jubilee? Yeah, doesn't matter.
Rolex is
Doesn't matter,
yeah,
right?
Doesn't matter style.
Yeah, I think it'll be there forever.
All right. So when you're ready, let me know, and we're gonna go get.
Yeah, we'll
me
go,
and you together.
We'll get matching ones. It's Kevin.
Yeah, we'll be down with Kevin.
We'll get.
What
Yo,
do they
which
call
one
it?
do you have? Which
Meeting
one
of
do
the
you have?
Crowns.
The Oyster.
Oyster
with the
Perpetual.
Roman numerals.
I like my favorite Rolex. Like realistically, that I would see myself buying is I like the Datejust, I like the Submariners, and I like the GMTs. Like those three. Like you have like the presidentials and like all of those like crazy ones.
Those
that
are
are like
like
those are like crazy
roof.
amounts, but like last year I thought like okay. This would be the year where I could actually like I think it'd be the right time for me to buy one.
Right.
And then like I just couldn't. And it was like double the price. And I'm just like, great. And then you know me, like I'm in the stock market as well. I never buy things at a premium. I always buy
Can't.
things on a discount. So
And I mean, I'm not a luxury guy. I don't have any real. Listen, I understand why people like them, and I like them too. And occasionally, I think about stuff like this, but we got to keep things like balanced too, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I think about sometimes. Is when does it get to the point where it's like, all right, that's just too much,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I guess it's all perspective. Like for me, like I would say this is too much. You might say like this is too. You might say like a different
true.
number. So
Yeah.
I think it's all perspective. For me, it's just too much. Like I can't see myself buying a Rolex for double the price.
And
It's just my perspective, right?
that's
Like that's
where
just
we're
what I
at
think.
now.
Yeah. Like I just can't do it. Can't put myself through it.
So that's a Rolly game.
Yeah, that wraps up. But just so you guys know, like, Rolex has like Torno, which is basically like the pre-owned of Rolex. Like I said, it's
see that.
buying a car.
Yeah.
You can go on that website, still buy an affordable watch if people
Mhm.
are watching, at a good price. Like the GMTs on there, they're like anywhere from 10,000 to 13,000. But with the Torno, you can get a car there that's 12 months interest free.
Okay.
That's why I said if you can't make 13,000 in a year,
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong.
All right, so let me ask you, because you're knowledgeable about this. If I'm on a cruise ship and they go into like, one of the ports and you get off and they always have like all these gift shops and you see like Torno and Rolex and Louis Vuitton, you think all that stuff, like those are authorized dealers, you think?
If it's Torno,
Like if I'm in Aruba
100%.
and I'm buying a watch, because
Yeah,
that's
I
where I
think
hear a lot
Torno-
of people are
yeah.
shopping Bahamas.
Like,
and-
all right, a lot of people don't know, like in Jersey, it's tax free. Well, sir. Like, you go to
Right.
AC, it's tax free. Like, say you buy something designer, you don't pay any taxes on it.
Okay.
So Torno, yeah, definitely. It's like the pre-owned of
Gotcha.
Rolex. But
Certified.
yeah, they're
pre-owned,
100%
whatever.
certified. All the parts are 100% real. Like they have
Okay.
Breitlings, APs, like you were saying, all the watches.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still afford. If you're looking for a new piece, that's where it becomes really, really pricey. So just some.
Yeah, but the thing you were saying, like what you were saying before, like
We're going
10 to
pre-owned,
13.
James. Me and you.
Yeah, yeah. But 10 to 13, right? Like 10 to 13, like, and that's pre-owned. And the new version is like what? Like it's like 8,
Some
9.
of the pre-owns,
But that's how it is right now.
they're
yeah.
worth the same as like the newer ones because of the originality, right?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously some of the older watches probably cost as much as the new ones because they're rare, like they're vintage watches,
Right.
things like that. But you still can afford a good watch, a decent watch.
And knowing what we know now, it's important to keep papers, boxes,
Yeah.
receipts, right? Just
Yeah.
like that guy in the video I sent you, because when you do go to resell these, that
They're gonna
sort of
ask for
is
it.
the NFT, the old-fashioned way,
Yeah.
right, of authenticating this stuff.
So next episode,
Yes.
both are gonna be wearing Rolex. Even our sound guy.
Oh, you getting it for us?
Yeah, you could buy first.
Come on, man. We know you're killing it.
Yo, how many houses you sell?
No,
Like
I gotta check
70
my
million?
taxes first. I gotta pay back.
All
But
good. Thanks
you know
for
what
having me.
time it is. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button.
Yes.
That was good.
That was
ending, right?
perfect. I like that.
But thank you, Lou, for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
First
I
guest
appreciate-
on Chill Bro. So
No, and I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys, and I love what you do.
we
and I
appreciate
wish
you
all
and we
the
love you.
success.
You are the
Always.
best.
Thanks.
And yeah, that is the latest episode of Chill Bro. We will see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate and Chill podcast with James Chaudhry and Kevin Iglesias. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share this with your friends, your enemies, your mother-in-law. No, seriously, this podcast is so fucking good, you might want to tell your ex. See you next time.